AIIT, and I would like to talk about how I bibliometrically located International Journal of Affective Engineering on the landscape of design research. So I know next to nothing about affective engineering, actually. This is the first time I have submitted any papers on affective engineering, and this is the first time I attended it. So I tried to grasp the concept by locating the topic within the broader context of design research, but with bibliometric way of understanding the research journals and papers in bibliometric way. And in this presentation, AE stands for Affective Engineering, and IJAE stands for International Journal of Affective Engineering, the main outlet of English literatures of affective engineering published by Kansei, JSKE. Right, so this was the inspiration. The first inspiration was from the last year's paper from Gonzalez Marquez. And they embedded 21 million PubMed paper abstracts into 2D. And this is the result of the 2D map. Each point means one paper and one abstract. And the abstract text are embedded into really high dimensional 700 dimensional vectors and then embedded into 2D with t-SNE. And I thought it was very interesting, and I thought maybe I could use this method to visualize and comprehend the really vast and vague and ambiguous design research area. Right, so this was my attempt. This is the final result of my version of the landscape of design research. So we did the similar, but with just 52,000 design research papers. So there's not so much papers for design research papers compared to, for example, PubMed paper in 21 million, but it's large enough for me, and I'm going to show you how. First, I selected the design journals and then retrieved the abstract data from Web of Science and then acquired text embeddings and TF-IDF, then embedded them to 2D map. This is nothing new. Like these methods are just explained in this Gonzalez Marquez paper, but we have found something that is surprisingly, interesting from these bibliometric research. So I thought I'd share the results with you. So based on right, so first I needed to select the journals, design research journals. And luckily we had this Gemser's paper in 2012. And they have provided like the 40 major design research journals. And we based our selection on this list. There is no straightforward objective way to choose what is design research and what is not design research. So we had to use this kind of a little bit subjective criteria, and not all the journals are used. Some are. So we have added some recently launched journals, like IJAE is really new, so we needed to add these. And there were some journals that were no longer published. And there were some journals that not indexed in Web of Science, so we had to exclude them. So we had 38 design research journals. And here is the list of these journals from general design research, arts and humanities, psychology, education, management, mechanical, material, ergonomics, and human-computer interaction and engineering. And here is IJAE, and I think IJAE really needs a cover. Without any covers, I cannot really show the journal in one picture. But anyways, so then we have this list of 38 selected design research journals. When we downloaded the metadata from Web of Science, there were nearly 62,000 paper metadata, but not all these had the abstracts data. So we had 52,000 abstracts. Here's the quick look at the data. And then we wanted to extract the, So the abstracts are just text, and texts are good for humans, but not good for machines to read. So we had to convert them into numerical data. And one way to do is to acquire text embeddings, and we did that through OpenAI's large language model. And if we provide them with the text, they will respond by 3,000 dimensional numerical data. And another way is using the classical Bagel-Forest TF-IDF, just like the Gonzalez-Marquez paper, we did two ways. And we then have a very high dimensional matrix of text embeddings. Then we reduce the dimension using UMAP. We have tested t-SNE, PCA, and UMAP, and we chose UMAP because it showed a better result. So for text embeddings on the left, we have this separation. So each dots, again, means one paper, abstract, and the color shows the domains. In here, I call design research as field and domain as the subfields, like general, engineering, humanities, education, etc. So we can see these are, of course, they are overlapping, but they're pretty nice separation of domains just from the content of the abstract, which is, for me, interesting. And so in the left, we have text embeddings, and on the right, we have TF-IDF. And it is astonishing that even with the cutting edge LLM text embeddings, we have more or less the same result from very simple analysis of TF-IDF. Right. So on the left, on the left, I'm showing IJAE papers in pink, and it is distributed very scattered all around the design research landscape. And in comparison, for example, Sheji, one of the famous Chinese general design research journal, is really concentrated in this general area. And IJAE is very scattered, but if you look closely enough, you can see that it is there are many papers that is located in interaction and ergonomics. And here is Kansei Island. Kansei and affective engineering is just here. So it is really small. And it is distributed among very diverse topics. And I cannot really go into the details, but there are so many topics that IJAE covers. That's the characteristics of this journal. And here's another view of a little bit different way of visualizing, but in the upper right corner, we have IJAE in pink together with interaction journals. And you can see that IJAE covers vast domains with no densely concentrated area. And from the data, we have constructed dendrogram. And the dendrogram shows the distances between each journals. And the dendrogram clearly shows that International Journal of Affective Engineering, even though despite the name ending in engineering, it's not really design engineering journal. It is actually well clustered together with interaction papers, interaction journals. So it's more of an interaction design journal than an engineering design journal. But IJAE is really hard to categorize because the topics is too broad to classify into one domain. So again, so here, at first I thought IJAE is an engineering design journal, but actually it was more closely related to these interaction design journals, not these, or ergonomics journals. And another thing is that the International Journal of Affective Engineering is dominated by Japanese institutional authors. They are predominantly from Japanese institutions like Japanese universities and so on. So I'm not sure. International Journal of Affective Engineering is not quite international. And another thing is that I cannot really go into the details of this figure, but it shows that on the x-axis is total cited count, so it's citation counts. And I wanted to show that the IJAE has the lowest impact out of 38 journals that I have compared in terms of citation count. So the impact is low. And for the author diversity, I have calculated the author diversity by Shannon Diversity Index. And for country diversity, it has the lowest author country diversity. So it means that IJAE is from really selected number of country, in this case, Japan. And one of the lowest author affiliation diversity, so not so many diverse university. But for authors, there are mediocre level of author diversity. So lowest in the country, mediocre in author. So in conclusion, we have compared 38 design research journals, and we have found that IJAE is better categorized with interaction design, thematically very omnivore, and it is remarkably diverse. It has remarkably diverse research topics. And it is unfortunately the lowest in impact out of 38 design research journals, comparatively speaking, and the lowest in country diversity and institutional diversity, being dominated by the domestic authors, Japanese authors, not quite international. So it is really, my first attempt was to understand AE from bibliometric way. And I wanted to see if how affective engineering is different from design research in general. Why affective engineering is using another term, which is not really famous and not using design as whole. So how does it differ from design? That was my research question. And it was really hard to draw a clear distinction between AE and design. And at least from my research, AE just represents pretty much any research related to design, but made in Japan. So in conclusion, IJAE is certainly distinct in the complex landscape of design research. These are really extreme, like lowest in impact, lowest in country diversity, and extremely diverse research topics. These are very extreme and characteristic thing for the IJAE in this complex landscape of design research. And here is my modest proposal. Voltaire famously said that the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. And International Journal of Affective Engineering is neither international nor of just AE, affective engineering. So I propose that International Journal of Affective Engineering change the name to Japanese Journal of Design, because it just represents Japanese research, and it is not really restricted or exclusive of affective engineering research. It's all design thing, like ergonomics, interactions, and some other things too. So it is extremely diverse, and it is not really fair to call all of these as affective engineering. It's more about design, I think. So the current state of affective engineering is way too inclusive, in my opinion. Defining it in the broadest way possible is not very informative. So if affective engineering wants to differentiate from design, maybe define affective engineering not by what it is, but by what it is not, can help differentiating from design. Or not by what you want it to be, but by what you want it not to be. And ISAAC, this conference is also 100% purely Japanese institutions, and all presenters were from Japanese institutions. So it is organized by a Japanese society, hosted by a Japanese university, participated by mainly Japanese, presented by mainly Japanese. And by Japanese, I mean researchers and students who belong to the Japanese institutions, not Japanese origin. So ISAAC is also a conference of the Japanese, by the Japanese, for the Japanese. So I suggest changing the name. Thank you.
Thank you for the excellent presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand on Zoom. Yes, Amir-san.
Yes, hello, and thank you for introducing such a completely novel topic within this kind of conference. Actually, I have a question and a comment. I'll start with the comment. The comment is about the end of your presentation, and you are suggesting to change the name. I completely agree with you from the perspective of bibliometric, from numbers and so on. So it is actually Japanese, more Japanese, presented by Japanese institutions. But I think that I don't have any idea about the what organizers want. But I think that if you rename to change to Japanese, it means that you are how say displaying kind of introvert image, and you are not asking to go outside. But if you put international, even if the participants are almost all from Japan, you are still in this perspective of opening the frontiers, opening the doors to the outside, and this invites kind of a call of invitation of to the international. And I don't know what's the age of the sorry, I even cannot recall the initials. Anyway, so for this journal, but I think this is but I think this is too short to just think that let's go differently and name differently because it's not behaving as the denomination. So this is my first comment. Maybe you don't agree, but
thank you.
Very basic one. Yeah, the question is my second question, but you can also I can wait for feedback about the comment if you want, but I can also ask the question and then get the comment for both. My question is the first. This is also very basic question. The first slides you showed the map of your model. And I was when you showed that, I didn't know what was your objective, your aims of this presentation. I was just thinking, okay, so why the shape is like that? It's kind of looks like Japan map in distortion way. But is there any? As this is also a conference about design, so is there any I say basis to this shape specifically?
Specific shape? Do you mean?
I mean, this kind of it looks like a map. Why it's not like on a circle or a square or something like that? Why?
Well, it's really not up to me. It's all about UMAP. UMAP showed me this type of shape, and I have no control over that.
Okay.
And so, for example, this one, T-SNE is infamous for providing something that is blob-like, like a circle shape, whatever the input is. And UMAP is more about separating the clusters. And in my case, for example, here we can see a little bit of separation from the others, but it's more like actually I wish I can show, but PCA also shows this kind of V shape. PCA result also shows a V shape, and it starts from here, and then we have two arms ranging from that thing. So I really have no control over the shape, but it kind of shows the relationships between the clusters. Like ergonomics is closer to interaction, not material, or humanity is very far away from materials, or psychology is kind of close to education, something like that. And these relationships in a really high dimensional data is represented in these 2 dimensions, like in very brute force way. And I cannot really go into the details, but it's really a clever way of reducing the dimensions, really high dimensions, into 2.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kyoto Institute of Technology.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I am Jean-Jue from Kogakuin University. I am also the editor of IJAE. So this is not a question, but the problem you point out in your paper is exactly the problem we are currently facing. For example, we need to increase the international also. And also we had there was a cover page of
Really? I didn't know.
We were updated and uploaded.
Yeah.
And so we are working to make the IJE better, Africa Journal. And but the concept of this ISASE is to provide a place for international students that was who was studying in Japan. So to make their presentation and to take the step of preparing for future presentation at international conference. Yeah, that is a concept. So maybe many presenters from Japanese university, but there's many foreign students. Yeah. Just a comment.
So thank you very much. I think there is no shame that ISAC is purely Japanese. Like I think getting more international flavor doesn't necessarily mean that it is better. I think domestic thing is kind of nice, especially in design field where I do not really see hopes in international way of doing design research, and I really like the way ISAC and IJAE is doing and Kansei is doing, but just naming something that is really domestic international is kind of a little bit off the fact from my perspective. But I get the intention behind it. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.